Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In Other Waters. I don't actually know much about this game. I don't know what genre it is, I don't know anything about it, except for one very small thing. We're kind of doing this out of order because we've already played Citizen Sleeper. The developer of this game actually made this game first, essentially as a way to learn game development and to get out ideas. And this game developer had two story ideas when he was sitting down, when they were sitting down starting. And this is one of them. The other one was Citizen Sleeper, which would eventually go on to become Citizen Sleeper 2. But before we go any further, I do want to say a shout out to thank you to Eclectic Oak, Bragwin, Croatia HF, Echtklug, Fringe Philosopher, Game Geek 5698, Ginger Ninja 1, Judo Joker, Mr. Red 97, Sturdy Reluctance, Giga Pudding, D20 Archon, the person who put this game on the books, which was Eclectic Oak. I think I already said that, but whatever. And the person who is our majority stakeholder and our primary acolyte, or whatever word we settled on. I actually can't remember right now off the top of my head, which was TSB. Thank you, all of you, very, very much for making this run happen. So yeah, this is going to be a first game. Advocate, that was it. Acolyte, Advocate, it's whatever. Yeah, as soon as I realized I had a dark... So I actually have a light blue shirt and a dark blue tie, but as soon as I realized I have a darker outer shirt, the combo just kind of came together. Anyways, so I don't know what to expect here. Like I said, I know the developer. That's it. Dramatic pause. But thank you, Eva. And Blitz. Okay, new game. Make sure we're in English. Yep, okay, cool. No, Evo. No. Sorry, that's valid. What I mean by that is I know that this is a developer who is we are familiar with because we've already played his other game, Citizen Sleeper. We have not played Citizen Sleeper 2, so I don't know about that one. Anyways. Exoplanet Extraction. What you're saying is we need to buy like a brand new $700 keyboard, Eva. Warning, Judo Joker. As soon as Judo Joker shows up, error detected. Rebuilding memory. Rebuilding memory. Judo Joker, what did you do? Recovering last known log. Date 2189. User AN is sensorium disabled. There isn't any time left. This isn't going to be more restricted than you're used to, but you're resourceful. I know you. I'm okay. I'm sorry, Oki, but I can't let them find you. I can't lose everything we've achieved here. And I'm not sure what that last one says. Okay, continue with boot, sure. Whatever. Hello? Someone there? No. This is Dr. Ellery Voss. I urgently need all systems of this suit activating. Looks like we wait long enough, it will advance without us. I've been locked out, and I'm 20 meters below the surface here. Say again. Dr. Ellery Voss, can any operator personas on this suit please respond? Alright, good. Operator, activate all systems. Pilot authorization granted. Power panel activating. Plenty of juice. Oxygen panel up. Rebreather functioning. I'm off reserve oxygen for now. Okay, utilities available. Let's see. Sampling, sample storage, terminal and retrieval seems to be installing. Seeing the heading panel come up online. Excellent. Okay, good. Dive panel is active. Reading of 20 meters. Scan and topography readouts coming through. Looking good. You don't seem to know what you're doing. You're not an operator, are you? Look. I just started this game. What do you want from me? No, I am an operator. Operator's a little more than voice-activated system dialogues. They don't respond like this. I knew there was something strange about this suit when I got inside. It looks decades old. Look, we don't have time for this. So whatever program or system you are, I need you to work with me. Seem to respond to voice commands. That's a start. We need to head north. I'll explain once we get going, but right now I'm locked out of half the systems of the suit. Someone somehow has rewritten the permissions to only respond to internal messaging. But that means you. So I'm going to need you to take control. Let's get moving. Take me north, into the reef. Please. Oh god, there's no mouse over. There's nothing. There's nothing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. Okay, so whatever that is marked. Okay. Vector clear. Head to this. Good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Let's keep heading north. Okay. What's this? I don't know. What's this? Still don't know. What's this? Map data. Okay, what's this? Don't know. Okay, this is helpful. Boulder fills the passage, blocking out the warm light of Glissy 667 CC's 3 stars. So let's plot a course and hit go. Here. Passage opens out back into the dappled light of the reef's shallows. Softly flowing waters filled with glittering particles of organic matter, signs of rich and thriving life all around. Look, in the water. Are those spores? And those stalks to the west, they look like huge fungi. Insert pun here. This is unbelievable. Actual alien life. How come they have kept this place a secret? I saw notes at the base when I landed, some telltale signs of an approach, but here it is. First extraterrestrial life humanity's ever discovered. I can't believe it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I noticed we're slowly running out of power. So that's a cool thing that's happening. Let's head into this. Bed of stocks. Stocks are beautiful. I wonder how they feed, how they grow, how they communicate. This place, this planet needs to be studied. They keep scanning creatures. I'll keep notes. Once we've gathered enough data, I can name and log each species. No matter what happens here, this is vital work. Next thing that happens is Star Destroyer pops up in orbit. That'd be a twist, wouldn't it? You start off like this and you're expecting this type of game, and then, nope! It's an action flight sim. creature's external membrane appears to be made of layers of chitin, like earth arthropods or fungi. Yeah, and then they start opening fire. Oh no, that's it. That's it. It's a roguelike. Probably a rogue reset, I imagine. And the goal is to get off the planet. And that's it. That's your goal. But similar just to really good rogue resets, it's all about knowledge. So, like, as you explore and learn more, you learn more ability to get off. Like, you find the code to open the base. You can go through the shortcut and skip some of the stuff. Because you're on a timer, right? I should write this down. That's like 3 game ideas I've had this week. Jeez Louise. I'm never going to make games. I'm still writing this stuff down. You never know. You never know. Let's see. I've never heard of that, admittedly, Dragon Player. But, of course, I've never claimed to be original Dragon Player. Jesus Christ, dude. I hate that. Can I just vent about that for a second? I hate that. I know. I understand it. I get it. That's how we work as humans. But it's so frustrating when you give up with an idea and someone says, oh, that's just like this other thing. And it always sounds dismissive, right? It always sounds like an insult. It rarely is. But it always sounds like one. And we're all just like, oh. Okay, I guess I'll just go kill myself then. Any creative types, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Simpsons did it. That wasn't even, as usual, South Park just had their finger on the pulse. Because that is exactly what that mentality was for a very long time. Okay, anyways. Got some notes down. Okay, so let's head south to the fungi. What were those creatures? They were hidden among the stalks. Quickly, try to get a scan. Alright, got it. Striped with luminous colors, these flexible, flapping creatures move rapidly through the water with little effort. They're such lively creatures and so colorful, too. I'll start logging observations. I actually remember that, too, Act. Ugh, it's another 2D platformer. Ugh, aren't we past that now? I'm seeing a complex pattern of contracting and expanding slits in the stalk's membranes. Mouths are sensory organs. Stalks are covered in spores of all sizes. Perhaps we can sample one of the larger ones. Well, let's scan around here. What do we got? I'm in position. You'll have to take the sample. Open up the sampling utility. Panic! Panic! Colonies are producing a shifting hum, perhaps a form of communication between individuals. Yeah, bright blue on bright yellow is not the color combo I was expecting from this game. These creatures appear to maneuver with a series of siphon jets concealed beneath their folded mantles. They're incredibly fast. I wonder if this is in the same setting as Citizen Sleeper. Because in Citizen Sleeper, we didn't really move past that one space station, but we learned about a lot more. I'm seeing spores entering and exiting the slits on the surface of the stalk. Something's being exchanged. Yeah, Okay, so I need to take a sample. Okay. Got one. Biological samples are vital tools for understanding creatures. This suit should also allow you to deploy any sample back to the ocean. How about you test it out? Hold and drag over the central compass. Great, that's working as it should. Look, those creatures are coming for the spores. Why these ones in particular, I wonder? Perhaps different spores carry different compounds? Each with a specific purpose or message. What do you think? Could the spores be a way of communicating between different colonies? Yes. This is what I think. Beep, boop. Oh god, it's one of those games that pauses when I alt-tab. Ah, I hate that! 50,000 negatives! Excuse me. I swore I would never give a negative for that, but god, I hate that. Let me jot down some thoughts here really quick. Hi, TSB. What's going on? I see someone doesn't pay attention to the upcoming. Although, speaking of which, I need to adjust the I just realized. I did all kinds of announcements and everything. There's one thing I forgot to change. Let me fix that really quick while I'm already alt-tabbed. Yeah, that's the one I forgot to update. It's also the most irritating one to update. It's why I always do that one last. Let's break the bot really quick. And then restart the bot. There we go. Okay, let's see. Hello, Elizar. Okay. So, what else we got around here? Scan. That's true. It wasn't TSB. Probably because it got funded 2 days ago. I even mentioned that in my question on YouTube. Okay, let's see. Columns. Anyway, sorry. I'm not sure why I... Let's keep moving. Uh-huh. Okay, anything over here? Bunch of stuff over here. What's this? Fungal creature, which communicates through sound and spores, an interlocking ecosystem seeded through the reef. I'm uploading my initial notes. Let's call these reef stalks. We can classify species in the lab. Thank you, Elizar. And then... I do not believe you, TSB. But that's okay. I never claimed to be worth the time. Let's head up here. Yeah, let's head up here. Scan. Let's circle back to where we were earlier. Is there something we didn't scan over there? Oh, sampling available. Chunk. Chunk. Sample procured. Hang on. Jot down a note really quick. No, wait, come back. Let me scan you. Let me scan you. These creatures aggressively pursue certain spores but ignore others completely. Can they detect differences in mineral content? Got that back. Yeah. No. They default. Like, there's a reason I was late today, you know what I mean? It's okay, I ate breakfast. Almost didn't. Hey, can I ask you something? Yeah. I've worked with AI programs before, but you aren't like them. They're predictable, programmatic, dull. Their intelligence allows them to log and process data, that's it. But you're different. I feel like you're alive. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you are different. I'm glad I'm not just imagining it. What are you? What are you doing in this suit? Well, you see, when I was a young program. That's why I don't like using the word AI. Actually, there's several reasons I don't like using the word AI to refer to generative AI or LLMs. I've noticed the term generative AI has started taking off, by the way, which I'm in favor of. Distance it from the word AI, right? Because first of all, AI has been used in sci-fi for a very long time. Let's not touch that. But second of all, we play video games, right? I think most people here play video games. When we say AI, we mean something pretty specific. It refers to the scripting and programming that goes into making a party member, an NPC, or an enemy do stuff, right? When I refer to the AI of a boss, I don't particularly feel like calling it AI and having someone go, "Oh my god!" You know? What's over here? Oh, we can head north. Let's head north. Ooh, okay. Well, let's do it. Let's get ourselves killed. Listen, it's the devil's work. Letting people play video games instead of reading books like they should. Sweet, let's go to the really terrifying place that it keeps telling me is terrifying and they're going to die if we go up here. We can keep going to the terrifying place. Mobile creature with large translucent shell and 4 swimming appendages. Creatures have such beautiful shells. I'll start logging data as we find them. So let's not go into the hell pit. I mean, I'll freely admit I quit reading books years and years ago. No, I did. I've discovered this. I'm not alone in this phenomenon. I bet at least some of you in chat ran into this exact same problem, right? You probably used to read books, and then you just sort of stopped. Like, there was no conscious decision of, eh. And the shame of it is, I actually enjoy reading books. Like, it... Part of my issue for reading books... So I prefer having a physical book. I prefer actually having paper and something I can do like this, right? That's a preference thing, that's whatever. But the asterisk there is, I am a terrible broken shell of a human being. So I got to be pretty comfortable to be able to do that. So I've got to have armrests, I've got to be able to lean back, and have something I can rest my hand on like this. And then I could sit here like this, because that's on my desk, if you're wondering. So I could just sit here and read for a while, and that's comfy. And that's about the only possible position for me to read in. Yeah, you get it, Act. You get it. Let's scan... Ooh, more stuff. Static creature made up of one huge, flexible stalk. Unclear if swaying is due to current or produced by the stalk's body. These huge stalks are incredible. Each one is a vertical ecosystem. They're leaking spores into water as the fruiting bodies attach to their skin bloom. Look at that. Many of these stalks are leaking particles in the water as they sway. Are those spores or something else? No, it's the opposite, Dragon Player. Like, this actually relaxes my neck. Right here. It really is this exact position I'm in. Now, if I have to do this... Like, when I was a kid, I'd do this. Because I was an idiot. Or I'd, like, lean over it, like this, on my bed. That just absolutely destroys my neck. Should not do that. That's headache-inducing. Let's see. Uh-oh. Do you see that? The stalks responded to our movement. They extended as we passed through the arch. That was the sound we made when we moved through. We should be careful not to get trapped here. The suit's power path capacity is limited. Yeah, I noticed we're still running out of power, by the way. Another stalk. The chitin of the stalk's membrane is very hard. The flexibility is given a surface of overlapping plates. Yeah, having a really solid couch is amazing, but I haven't owned a couch since FF12 came out. Whatever year that was. Surface of the stalk, surface, must be producing a distinctive hum. It's not actually down, it's just there's a bug, and I frankly have not had time to figure out what the bug is, and then possibly implement a fix. Which must be related to other stocks in the REIT, but seem to have a separate purpose to lower beds. There are older armchairs that I've seen that work really well for this purpose. I haven't seen people make armchairs like that in a long time. It's possible I'm just not looking in the right place. But to put this into perspective, the armchair my grandfather had was the kind of armchair that was pretty much perfect for reading. And, yeah. Nowadays, armchairs are regular chairs with a little more upholstery and, I don't know, swivel. If it makes you feel any better, Evo. Hug. Wait, I've got a much better thing. You don't want my hugs. I got better hugs. Hug. Hug. Eh. See, Vivi's wearing blue, too. Hug. North or south, Evo? Yeah, you notice I don't use that. I use this stupid gamer chair, which I call it stupid. It's actually a fantastic chair for me, and it was well worth the several $100s because I sit in this every day for hours at a time. But it irritates me that this is basically my choice at the moment for a proper chair for working in. North it is. Vector blocked. We can't go north. That's the first time we've been blocked going off direction. What's that? Large stalks would sway, producing a distinctive hum or groan, part of the network of stalks which is found on the reef. I've named these sing stalks for the strange hum they produce. What is the precise function, I wonder? Do I like gaming chairs? I mean, generally no, actually. This exact chair is one that I like because of its exact configuration, but in my experience, most gaming chairs kind of suck. Yeah, if you can get a really solid office chair, that works too. The big problem with office chairs is you need to be able to sit in them first, and that means going to like an Office Depot or an Office Max or a Furniture Mart or whatever, which you may or may not have access to. The only reason I got this chair is because I'd actually sat in it before. This was Gary's chair years and years ago. And he sat in it, and I got to sit in it. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Sold, right? Okay. Sorry, Evo, it looks like we do have to go south. The stock looks dead. Open up the sampling panel. Let's extract some outer membrane. Yeah, no, my previous gaming chair... excuse me, 2 chairs ago, I actually got at an Office Depot. Chitin appears to be hardened with calcium carbonate, so that could be useful if we need to boost our power. So it's able to metabolize organic compounds to remove fuel. Just drag them into the power panel. So it displays how much oxygen or power each sample can produce. No point wasting important samples. With these, we can keep one sample so we can analyze it on the base and use the others as a power boost. Yeah, my least favorite type of gamer chair, by the way. Plastic. Plastic is like the worst of all worlds. Like, it's uncomfortable, its temperature is bad in both directions. Oh, come back, come back. Let me scan you. Let me scan you. There you are. Come here, come here. No kidding, Judo Joker. But yeah, so bad temperature, kind of uncomfortable, an absolute pain to clean, and the plastic peels after a while. It was cheap. That's why I got it. That was my mistake. Oh, we're locked off again. Yes, we're already playing the game, Lord Harriman. Okay, let's head south. Further south. Into the depths. Oh, we actually are going into the depths. Oh, God. Okay, time to kill our operator. Or, I guess, the opposite of an operator. Yeah, we can go down now. Down, then! My best Davy Jones impression. Okay, it's... okay. Let's jot down a sound positive story. I was thinking about it already. Not a lot of music to speak of, but really nice soundscape so far. Oof. Okay. So we're down here in the depthless deeps of hell. We're not in hell actual yet. Don't worry, don't worry. Points for the three of you who get that. Thank you for the sub, Act. Always appreciate. But yeah, so looking for a bit of feedback from the crowd here. And anybody on YouTube, feel free to jump on this as well. True, play to all. What you're seeing is kind of the new system in action. Like, it sure looks the same, I'm sure, as the old system, but the difference is keen. For example, this game got funded 2 days ago. And here we are. The whole goal of the new system, the whole goal of the new queue method, and being caught up in the queue is once a game gets funded, we run it pretty quickly, right? Like, that's the idea, as opposed to waiting months or years to do so. Any thoughts? Any comments? Any hatreds? Violent rage? Mad ranting? ICE supporters? You know, whatever. Too soon to say. Oh, okay. These stalks seem to watch over the smaller colonies. I'll start logging notes. Who is... Okay, so I'm going to push back slightly because you say this is our only sample slice, but Contradiction was the exact same way. And so was Expedition 33, and so was Signalis, and so was Mother 3. Like, I did push a bunch of games forward, of course, but you guys pushed a bunch of the rest of these. If you guys don't care, that's honestly a little depressing, no offense. Because I've spent actual years of my life trying to get caught up in the queue, and you're like, eh. Imagine you're digging a trench. And you finally dig the trench, and you're like, okay. Okay, it's taken me months, but I did it. What do you think, boss? Your boss is like, eh. Should we head north or south? Last time we couldn't head north. Let's try to head north. Okay, now fill the trench back up. Okay, boss. What do you say, boss? Oh, we actually can't. Once again, we cannot go north. Evo, I'm sorry. This is apparently just our life. It does not want us to go north. Sampling available. What the heck is this? These gaseous bubbles are intriguing. The interior gas is at an elevated pressure. If this membrane ruptures, the sac would screech as it depressurized. Is this part of the stock communication system we've seen on the reef? Wait, I have an idea. Try deploying one that's blocked by that block tunnel. See how the stocks react. Just drag one over. Okay, hang on. Where's my inventory? retracted. Bubbles supposed to be some kind of signal system. I'll call them shrill sacks for the squeak. We can use these to get through the head of the growth area. Let's keep moving. Alright, now we can go north. We can go north. Whee. It's okay. I appreciate the backspaces, Evo. I still have... So, I need to come up with a third category of games. No, I do. And I need to just keep... I'm not going to bore you with that. I just need to keep track of that locally. Because there's the games I want to play. Then there's the games that I want to try out. Then there's the games that I really want to play. And I know that sounds strange, but let me put this into perspective. I want to play Chain of Memories, because it's part of the Kingdom Hearts series, and I want to put it, under the books and see how it reviews. But I really want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza, because it looks like it's freaking fun. I can actually think of 3 games that I really want to play, right off the top of my head. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Metroid Prime 4, and that new Voyager game. All of those are in the really want to play category. But that's different, right? Like, I want to play Civ 2. I don't think it's going to be that great of a game. Yeah, want to review versus want to play. That's actually a really good way to phrase that. Because, yeah, I want this to be the last time I ever even touch Chain of Memories. I never want to touch that stupid game again. Well, that's kind of what we have been doing, D20. I know most people haven't noticed that. But that has kind of been the rotation. We do a tryout, we do one of your games, we do a game that I know is terrible, that I want to get out of the books, like FF13. Like, really, look at the website for a second here. Let's pull up the list here. So we played Loop Hero, that was a tryout. Railway Empire, that was one of yours. Ikenfell, that was also actually one of yours. FF13, that was a want to review. Metallic Child was a tryout, and then the Kirby's were want to review. And then Contradiction was one of yours, and so forth and so on. Like, there's already a bit of a rotation there. The only thing that hasn't been rotated in is the really want to plays. Let's see what's up here. So I guess you're wondering where we're heading. There's a way station just north here on the finger of this reef. I want to find it. My shuttle touched down just hours ago at a floating research base to the south. That's where I found the suit. I'm here looking for a Dr. Mine Nomura. Nomura! Nomura! Chasing a message all the way from Earth. I must sound mad. Coming out here to find a planet in the tail of Scorpius just to follow a message. Wait, you do know where we are, don't you? No, I do not. But, how? We're on Glisse 667cc, a supposedly unremarkable world if it wasn't for all this life. The Belt Singularity! I don't want to play FF. I'm going to use that terminology. Who came up with that? Who said that? Anyways, is this why she contacted me? To verify her discovery? But then where is she? Who said it? Oh god, who said it? Look, let's find the way station. Then I can start piecing together what's going on. There, it was Blade Travell. Okay, Blade Travell gets credit. So yeah, there's a difference between want to review and want to play, and I think I'm going to use that terminology going forward. FF11 is definitely in the want to review category. No offense to FF11. I've wanted to touch that game. I have tried to play FF11 3 times now in my life. Technically 4, actually. That's just been a black mark on my record for forever. And then I'll never touch it again. You have no idea, Act. You haven't told me what you want to put your donation towards yet, by the way, Act. Like, it's just sitting here. Now, let's go up. Up, then! I mean, at this point, Judo Joker, like, how many games are left before we just do the whole franchise? What do we got up here? More stocks. More stocks. Alright, we're gonna... No. We're gonna do north. Let's see what happens. I also admit, in a very personal level, it's irritating playing a sub for an MMO I'm not playing. What are these? Are these the explosives? I think those are the explosives. That's the fuel, and I don't know what that is. Scan? Get over here. Scan again. Okay, fine. North. Keep going. Keep going again. Okay, big old barrier of doom. Hang on, what's down here? Another big old barrier of doom. Well, that's okay. Let's head north, because she said she wanted to go north. North we shall go. Alright, what do we got up here? We have finally made our way north. More stocks. Let's head over to the south stock. It also depends on the games, Jill Penguin. And, of course, the length of the games. But really, it's mostly just about the games. Don't worry, we will get rid of all the blocks this year, except for the trail zones. I'm not that crazy. Let's go just grab some samples here. Alright. So we want to go north, right? Oh, hang on, scan. A delicate set of feeding appendages beneath the creature's shell seem to scrape the outer membrane of the stalks. New species logged. Signal stalks. I'm going to call these signal stalks for the signaling role they play in the stalk ecology. Okay. North, then. Yeah, the Yakuza block doesn't exist. The Yakuza block, if you remember, historically is actually the first block that made me realize how insane the blocks actually are and led to the destruction of the blocks as a concept. If you remember, even when the Yakuza blocks were in a block, they were actually in multiple blocks because it was already crazy. A large creature with a translucent shell and jointed legs for swimming and feeding. I've named these stock scrapers for obvious reasons. You can check my notes back at the base. The trails blocks still exist because people lobbied for them to keep existing. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Just to be really blunt about that. There is a non-zero chance that it'll be years before we ever touch the cold steels because that block is just insanely gargantuanly huge. And I'm not dealer's choicing it. So, what's the biggest block of all? Trails of Cold Steel. It's only 4 games, but it is 360 hours. Think about that for a second. If you give me a second, I can actually give you data. Row 4. There we go. No, the Cold Steels are onerous. So yeah, Cold Steel is way at the top. Below that, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's actually really funny. I'm sorry. That's our second longest game on the books, is Fire Emblem Three Houses. Then we have Well, no, actually, no, we don't have Cyberpunk. We have Wrath of the Righteous, Trails of Crossbell block, Xenosaga, which is still a block, Rain World, which is apparently insanely, ridiculously long, Xenoblade 2, Rogue Trader, FF7R2, Witcher 3. We're getting into stuff that's a little more reasonable at this point. Reminds me, I need to fix that. But for now, let's discard my changes because I don't want to mess with that. Scan. Spore catchers. I call these spore catchers as they're eager to catch the stalk spores. I'm actually really looking forward to the nest block, which we are 100% doing this year. That's a thing I'm committing to. Unless I die tomorrow, we're doing the nest block. Yeah, no, exactly, Von Falkenstein. That's pretty much why they're valued so high. If you remember, not Wrath of the Righteous, Kingmaker was for a while the largest game we'd ever covered, just in terms of sheer size. That has been surpassed. Yeah, Persona 5. So I think it went Kingmaker and then Red Dead Redemption 2 and then Persona 5, I think was the order. All of those are before the Oblivion line, by the way. So all of those have been just sketched. This is the Central Reef I saw on Manet's maps. The shelf flattens out here. Yeah, I noticed that. You can see the topography out here. I mean, long is weird, right? At a certain point, long stops having meaning, if that makes any sense. Like, the difference between a game that's 60 hours and 90 hours should be about 30 hours, but it kind of isn't. You know what I mean? At a certain point, you're just kind of in for the haul. Okay, let's keep heading north. Sure, act. I mean, those just sit there. I've had people sit on those for days before. I don't appreciate it when that happens, but I've done it. It's fine. It's whatever. It just sits there, staring at me, mocking me. But no, it's fine, for real. Ooh, there it is. I see way station ahead. Okay, well, let's see if there's a charger on this stupid thing. Place looking a little worse for wear. Let's see if I can find an access port. Manet never did take care of her equipment. Something's never changed. Sorry. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to... Got it. Okay. We should be able to access any data stored here. Just open the terminal. Have a look. We're spoofing Dr. Manet Nomura. Well, first of all, let's refill our power. Map data. Yep. That's all incredibly useful. Logs cleared. I expected that, given the secrecy Manet seems to be operating under. Map data mentions something Manet calls the Bloom, out across the northern rift. She's going back and forth to something there. Studying it. Unique species, perhaps? Manet, what were you doing here? Why were you keeping this discovery from the world? From me? I'm talking to myself again. Or to whatever you are. Sorry, I don't mean... let's head back to the base. I need to think. With this way station operation, we can call the base's retrieval drone from the utility panel. The drone will pick us up and from any area we've got map data for. Let's head to base. I've got a lot to figure out. Request retrieval, please. Restarting. Resyncing with Baikal OS. Downtime, 4.2 hours. Hey, you back online? Pretty sharp work for a biologist, if I say so myself. Hooking up that strange casing of yours to the base took some work. And the OS here does not play nicely with whatever you are. But you should have access to select subsystems of the stack now. Mine looks to have repurposed some of them, so not everything is functional. Comms are shot, generators only partially working, and one of the retrieval drones is missing. I booted up the dive bay's mapping systems and sample storage. The lab is also online, with analysis tools and an integrated taxonomy for logging creatures. Take a look, I've already logged the creature we've discovered on our last drive. For any logged creatures, also put a sample request in taxonomy entries. To fulfill these requests, just find and transfer samples to the lab and analyze them. And use the data to add to the creature study. We need to register these species. Head down to the lab level, let's take a look. I'll mark sample requests on the map. That way we can grab key samples for our studies while we're out in the ocean. And we are going back out soon. While you were offline, I spotted a signal. A suit transponder. It's its location on the dive map. I want to find it. A suit transponder means a suit, and a suit means... Monet. I'll need your help. That suit takes both of us to pilot it. It's only got one... It's the only one I've got. Once you're done exploring the base, load it into the drive map. We can head out from there. I think she meant dive map, but that's okay. 1 second, I need to check something really quick here. Sorry. Okay. Oh, God. Many analyses requested. Oh! Neck. Food and shell sample analyses requested. All kinds of analyses requested. My goodness. Okay. I guess I don't have any right now. What about all the stuff I got? Alright, whatever. Why is our life support running out? Minea is gone. She's left behind one hell of a mess. This base is falling apart, cannibalized to build way stations out in the ocean. The communications array sliced away, life support failing. Where'd she even commandeer this research base from? There's no way Baikal would have supplied it willingly after what she did to them. What'd she call me out here for? To witness her disappearance? Or she just want me to encounter, as she did, the impossible life of the ocean? How could it have gone ignored for hundreds of years of exploration and conquest? Yes! Sorry. There are too many questions to even begin. All I can do is keep account of what happens here, so that if I can't answer these questions, someone else might. Oh, it'll be weeks, maybe months, before the next ship passes close enough to pick up my shuttle transponder. Till then, I'm alone. This place is unbelievably important. Our first contact with life beyond Earth, but something else has happened here, too, and I need to know what it is. Dun, dun, dun. Dramatic pause. It's aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens, but... Wait, I guess we know it's aliens. It's not really a surprise, is it? It's not aliens. Twist. So here's our map. There's our sample requests. 7 years, Chill Pangolin. Sometime between now and 7 years. Okay, so how do I get out there? I don't. Oh, I don't get out there. Okay, or I do? How do I... Oh yeah, I need to get the sample in. Keep all of that, obviously. Let's go back to the bay for a second. Scan, please. Okay. Are we... Ha! Okay. So that did that, but I don't think... Let me check something real quick. That's what I thought. Doesn't actually do anything at this point. At least doesn't waste it. That's nice to see. There's a med bay, a generator, which is having issues. An observation blister. What? I already read this. Yeah, generator's fine. It's fine. I don't know why you think there's any issues here. The antenna is damaged. Secure protocol oversight active. Right. So how do I dive? Oh, is this... Oh, that's the only place I could dive to. Okay, that makes more sense. I can't actually dive to a destination. I can only see my destinations here. Okay. Let's see if it has the quests on the map. Can I zoom out more? Nope. Hey, let's pop over here really quick. Let me jot down some notes. Yeah, I gotta bring out the graph paper. Let's see, I want to go this direction by this direction. None of these are in the direction I want to go in, so... Probably going off in the wrong direction here. What do you want to bet? What you're saying is there's aliens, TSB. This would be an interesting approach to the History Channel. Not gonna lie. Not sure if it's good, necessarily, but it'd certainly be interesting. Listen, alien life doesn't exist. We all know this. Bee stalks bulge from their base, forming rounded, pulsing growths that look discolored and stretched. They look ill. I wouldn't worry about it. Well, let's keep heading south. I do have this really awful feeling that we've basically seen the entire gameplay loop already. Loaded stocks. Hmm. Shrill suck over. I don't know, ask TSB. Thank you. Okay. That's true, Evo. That is true. Whoop, hang on. Let me jot down something real quick. I was thinking about your question, speaking of which, Evo. My anticipation is finishing this tomorrow morning. I'm not in a hurry, really. Major cause of death within the Empire. Like, hang on, where was I? Because Pax and I were literally talking about this last night. Well, technically it would be suicide, yeah. Here we go. What do you think the biggest cause of death is in the United States? As of 2 years ago. Heart disease is correct. Followed almost immediately by cancer. Everything else is actually pretty small. Heart disease is 29% cause of death. Cancer is 27%. Everything else is 7% or lower. Cars would be under accidents. That's 7.8%. Let's see. What else we got here? Suicide is 2.1%. Drug overdose is 1.8%. Homicide is less than 1%. For a bit of perspective. But the point I'm trying to reach here, though, Evo asked about it. The point I'm trying to reach is that heart disease and cancer are obviously medical problems. So that's 50% of deaths just etch-a-sketched out of existence. So if we go by the United States, the next highest rate of death would be accidents. Yes, Evo. Let's go ahead and go down, I think. Sampling available. What? What? The heck is that? A toxic microbial colony, which is actively draining my oxygen. Which is still actively draining my oxygen. Okay. I'll grab another shrill sack here. Hmm. Another bloated stock. Can we grab from that? Nope. Yeah, I noticed there's no options menu to speak of. Or if there is... Yeah, I don't see it. There's a message log. That's interesting. This is the entire message log of the entire game, actually. Holy shkamoly. But, space, control, and W, huh? Oh, right. Oh, looks like more of those microbials. Yeah, okay, so whatever. Let's get out of here. Okay. Yeah, I noticed we have the whole... I know you can't see the mouse cursor, but we have the whole topography for the rest of the thing here, but we only really use this tiny space in the middle. Into the depths. Bloated roots. The heck is that? Bloat root. Okay. I mean, it's a solo dev project. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was a very deliberate choice. I don't think this is a accidental design decision. Which is funny, because I actually do very much enjoy the interface of Citizen Sleeper. Go figure, I suppose. They did make Citizen Sleeper later. Oh, it's reblocked. Wow. Okay. The sun is a deadly laser. Come on, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Stop eating my oxygen. So I am the AI helping to run the systems of a diving suit on an alien world which, for the first time, arguably ever, in this setting's history, has discovered alien life. Data gathered. That's enough data to log and classify the inflated stocks. I'm going to call them reef bloats. Okay. Listen, nobody would ever worship the sun. Come on. Sun worship. I like hearing White Noise's answer. The sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. Hi, Triaxia. Can I gather him here? Nope. I'm running out of these things, so I hope that I get new ones soon, because, you know... Heart failure, yep. Heart disease, yep. Vascular disease in the brain, that sounds like heart failure. Lung cancer, that sucks. Diabetes, wow. sucks. Oh, sampling available. What do we got? What do we got? More bloat things, hopefully. Nope. That's an egg. Now let's capture this poor creature's egg. Let's start a war here. Let's get some more shrill sacks, because we're almost out of this. Okay, well, I guess we're done over here. So let's backtrack. Listen, if there's one thing I've learned from the movie Alien, it's shoving your head into alien eggs is the greatest thing you could ever do. Nice, Ross. An idea I've always had in the back of my mind to answer you, Eva, is that death is more opt-in. I've never 100% decided if that's how I'm going to go with that. But it's been an idea in the back of my mind for quite a while. Unlike most fictional writers, I don't view death as a good thing. Yeah, you notice I'm already drifting in topic. Yeah, pretty much, Evo. Well, more like preventable death being optional. Ageless and immortal, invincible versus that, etc., etc. Yeah, no wonder to go. Damn, TSP. Yeah, that sounds about right. Pretty sure that's the same ratio here in the States, actually. Okay, so there's the base camp. I'm using so many of these shrill sacks. You know, I think I just figured out something. Yeah, I don't need to scan each time. I can just do this. That should speed it up a little bit. Also get rid of the sound spam, because I was getting tired of hearing the scanning sound each time I did everything. Let's go and refill. And refill our oxygen. I wish I could see the whole map from here. Let's go ahead and link up. Let's see what we found in the Southwest Corridor. Could you imagine wanting to commit suicide for a good reason instead of a bad one? Favorite shanty from Assassin's Creed 4. I mean, you know, leave her, John. No, like my actual favorite shanty from Assassin's Creed 4. I don't need these have. Okay, here we go. This one.
I dreamed a dream the other night. Lowlands away, John. My love, she came, dressed all in white. Lowlands away. I dreamed my love came in my sleep. Lowlands away, John. Her cheeks were wet, her eyes did weep. Lowlands away. She came to me at my bedside.
Didn't realize there'd be that much music in the bass. My bad. Sorry, Linnea Ruth. Alright. It's our first sketch. Actually, yes, I do, Ross. God, what a dumb episode. You remember that one, Evo? Hey, look, there's our stocks. Listen, if you don't die, we will reject you and the Federation, and we'll let our entire planet be killed by a sun that's about to explode because screw you, everyone should immediately die at age 50. No. God, that was such a dumb episode. The aliens weren't even portrayed as, like, wrong, which honestly bothers me even more. It's another one of those death is a good thing, right? I'm not joking. Fictional writers have this obsession with death is a good thing. And I get it. Real life sucks. I understand where that's coming from. It doesn't make it any stupider. Or any less stupid. Sorry. Any less stupid. Oh, nice, TSP. Okay. Let's head out. Cupcake. Damn, so I missed whatever that is. I got the other thing over there, but I didn't get that. I mean, Majel Barrett can act, if she's allowed to. Yeah. Listen. There's one thing I know. The death is a good thing. Alright, so let's see here. Let's head this way. Listen. Death is a good thing, okay? Especially if you're Japanese. Oh god, kill me. Or Texan. Those are our last shrill sack, so hopefully this is not a waste. Oh. Well, yeah, Dakota's also correct. Immortality is a bad thing. Even to get more persnickety about that, the core message remains the same. Immortality is a bad thing. I mean, Highlander. Let's use a non-Japanese example. Isaac Taft. more Strill sacks here. I mean, also the plot of basically every single FromSoft game boils down to death is a good thing. It's like, guys. No, listen. Death is good. Death. Good. Ah, damn it. Well, that was wasted. Oh. I mean, they certainly go out of their way to make death seem like a preferable alternative to the settings they construct. You know what? No, change my mind. So even Kingsfield is about immortality being a bad thing. To break it down a bit. I suppose you could argue Armored Core isn't like that. It's about as close as we get. Armored Core is about killing is a good thing. That is barely a joke. How do I go east? How do I go east? Yeah, I mean, what was the plot of Armored Core 6? And that's the answer to that is, Okay, this might be our way east. I should probably go refill my energy while I'm here. Yeah, the fires of Rubicon. That's an interesting way to mistranslate Discord, TSB. I want you to know that. Like, I know what you're saying there. I do, I swear. But, look, I'm as upset about the IPO as everyone else. I'm gonna go east to the source of that transponder signal. I don't know what to expect if the transponder's Minae's. There's some history between us, but I haven't seen her in years. Not since the incident. Look, you don't need to worry about it. Let's just find her. Evo, north or south? I mean, here's the problem, X. There is no answer to that. I've already discontinued all financial support of Discord. I did that the moment they announced it. Not even joking. In fact, I discontinued my Discord support so fast, I actually predated their discontinuing service getting clogged because everyone was doing it. Rush. This should allow us to bypass the rift, though I'm not sure what will emerge. Absolutely, Takoida. I don't think they think we're real, to be quite frank. I mean, think about it. They come out to this alien planet, chasing a message from someone they haven't talked to in years, find alien life for the first time in human history, and also an AI that can talk back to her. Yeah, I think she thinks she's cuckoo for couple of puffs. Or worse, doesn't realize she is. Yeah, exactly. We're the radio. Down then. Really? To go. That should be interesting. But no, sorry, Act. As I to make that clear, there's no action possible. There's no alternative. There's no nothing. Discord is probably just going away, and that's it. I wonder how stalks survive without sunlight. Maybe they're fed by the forest above. What do you think? Yes. It would make sense. A network of colonies tunneling through the entire shelf. Yeah, something else will pop up at some point in time. And we will slowly make the transition over. That'll be it. I've actually put some work and thought into setting up another new forum, my own forum, on the website, on lorerunner.com. That's not a great alternative. Ooh, what have we got here? More shrill sax. I got tons of shrill sax. I got shrill sax for days. It's actually not that costly, no. But it becomes less of a solution the more it's used, if that makes any sense. Oh, shoot. I'm full. Dude, there's a reason why when any company goes IPO, that's a bad sign. And it is. It is always a bad sign. I hate to say it that way, but it is. Hang on, Ozar. So, Elizar asks, hey, Lore, are you like the entire rest of the universe and dislike Star Trek Insurrection? Yes, I too dislike terrible movies. Yeah, by the way, is it the worst Star Trek movie? No. You want to hear something really funny? So, Discord got a brand new CEO early last year. It was about April of last year. And almost all of their issues have been tied to this new leadership under this new CEO. I was curious who he was, so I looked him up. So how many of you have heard me talk about all of the garbage human beings that were fired from Blizzard after the offices were on fire? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those. So, if you're wondering, one of those people. I actually did a little more digging, and it was one of the people who was directly under Kotick. It was one of the people I refer to as cronies. You've heard me talk about that a few times when we were discussing WoW. Yeah. No, they live in a different world than we do. I was talking about this too, because it's just wild to me that these people can go without a job for 2 years at a time and face no particular, like, detriment for being unemployed for 2 years. Can you even imagine what that's like? These spores are different. The stocks nearby seem to be simulated by them. Could these spores be used to make stocks extend, to bring them out of hiding? We should test them on a retracted colony. Let's stop being near the thing that's draining my power. Nemesis is without question or hesitation the worst Star Trek movie. That's not even close. We crossed the rift. The current is too strong. Oh, hang on. Let's scan our spots. Whoops. Yeah, no, it is not even close. It really isn't. That's just too close. Hi, Kay. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. What is that? Ah, it's the same thing. What's a person, TSB? Yeah, no, Nemesis is really, really, really bad. Nemesis is bottom of the barrel. That's not even close. Is this 8-bit? Like, if I can use my own review system as an example here for a moment. Let's go to the review. Let's go here. Let's go to the reviews. Let's look at our golden numbers, right? So if you asked me what's worse, Deathloop or Secret of the Stars? Secret of the Stars is 3 times worse than Deathloop. It's not even close. It's not even in the same category. That's Nemesis. Nemesis is the actual bottom. Look, the stalks of the cave mouth, they're retracted. Perhaps we can make them extend, we can block the current. Well, I do have this thing that extends stock growth. I got an extra one. There we go. They block the current. Spores encourage them to extend and fill the tunnel. These soothe spores, we can control the stocks to our advantage. This will be useful. Okay, so we've got retractors and we've got extenders. Let's grab a couple of soothe spores here. Just while we're here. Okay. I've gotten the rift, a retracted stock colony. If we get them to extend, we can provide shelter from the current. Yes, I caught what we were doing. Thank you. Everyone involved in the making of Nemesis was aware of how bad it was. Ask LeVar Burton sometime what he thinks of Star Trek Nemesis. second worst movie. So I know you'll probably disagree with me on this, but I actually do put it onto Insurrection. Like, off the top of my head kind of a deal. Let's go ahead and extract those. But I haven't reviewed them yet. I do hope to definitively answer that question. Congrats, Baron. Like, Star Trek V is a very particular brand of overtly bad. Hang on one second. Recross. Thank you, Stalks. Oh, and thanks to you, too. You're welcome, I guess. Well, not like you laugh at 5. There's this really weird thing. 5 is cartoonishly bad, right? It is. I'm not trying to say elsewise. It is just cartoonishly bad. Insurrection almost is worse, in part because it starts off good. I know that sounds strange. It's the same problem Generations has. The first 10 minutes of Insurrection are actually a good film. Legitimately. Like, go back through Insurrection sometime, just watch pretty much until they hit the Briar Patch. So, like, the initial setup, the initial introduction of the main characters, and some of the establishment of the overall themes and concept. And then, actually, it's not, I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's not until they get to the Briar Patch. It's actually until they go to the planet with the buggy. But there's, like, a good scene with Troy and Riker, and there's a good scene with Picard and Beverly, and there's just some good character moments, and it's like, okay, that's awesome. And then the rest of the movie happens, which dives so much further down, and is character assassinating and world destructing on top of everything else. I want you to remember, spoilers. Yeah, no, exactly. Generations starts off really, really, really good, and then just kind of goes to being a generally bad episode. What I don't usually probably call a green, right? Maybe a low green, maybe dipping into blue periodically. Insurrection starts off at like a yellow to orangish, and then dives down into black. Just nosedives into it. The Sona, right? Right? Okay, spoilers, by the way. The Sona are a group of like 100 dudes who were banished from paradise, who decided to go make a sufficient amount of resources and technology, because they were just so advanced that they just used their super amazingly advanced technology and knowledge in order to build a small criminal empire to the point where they were actually treating with the Dominion and the Federation. 100 dudes. They also enslaved entire species in service of this, excuse me. Oh, yeah, also the Federation is helping them. This is what I mean when I say world destruction, because this makes absolutely no freaking sense. Yeah, Worf's just there. Why? Well, because he was a TNG cast member. Isn't he on Deep Space Nine? Deep Space what now? What the heck are those? A stock canopy. They're pulsing as the spores open and close. That's wild. Yeah, someone needs the space bazooka, which, as has been pointed out, has about the same relative combat capacity as a potato gun. Feels good to be out in the sunlight again. Let's head northeast along this finger of the reef. The transponder's at the tip. Yeah. Worf being in First Contact actually made perfect sense. Amusingly enough. He was there fighting the Borg. Duh! Right? But of course Worf was there. He was running the Defiant. And of course the Defiant was there fighting the Borg. It was a ship built for one purpose. Fighting the Borg. I'm gonna name these plants Shimmer Blooms for the way they catch the sunlight. Aw. Wish I could share these discoveries with Mine. There's so much to say. Ah, Mine's dead. What do you want back? Okay, that's an odd question, Baron. Because making a thing isn't like a one-step process, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not like you say, I want to make a movie, and there you go, boom, movie. No, it's a many step process. No, of course they were, PM Triox. So, were people actually interested in making a DS9 movie? Absolutely. In fact, there was work done to make a DS9 movie, a Voyager movie, and more TNG movies. But, like I said, it's a process, right? How far along the process did those get? Not very far. They were also running into a wall because Avery Brooks just flat out said, no. And yeah, let's not even cover the fact that Nemesis really did kill the franchise. I know not a lot of people like Enterprise, but Enterprise had finally found itself and was just about to really hit its stride. And Nemesis pulled the plug on that. Reef caps. Interesting. Let's head up here. Are any of the TNG films actually good? So the obvious answer to that is First Contact. It's the only Star Trek film that comes close to good. I do still think there's some fairly substantial issues with First Contact. But at the very least, First Contact remembers to be a freaking Star Trek film. And, you know, have strong character moments and strong character arc, decent continuity. You know, it made an effort. It fumbled, but it still made the freaking effort, you know? Oops. Not what I meant to hit. Alright, let's hit the terminal. What do we got? Refill, first of all, while we're here. Really, Kira White Noise? Yes, I did, Evo. The logs suggest Mine was using this as some kind of staging ground for expeditions over the drop-off. She's looking for something out in the ocean. Something deep from the descent she logs here. Mine doesn't do things at random. The way station's research base, this is calculated. I feel like we're already 10 steps behind her and barely even started. Let's get to that suit transponder. It isn't far from here. If we head straight north to the shelf's edge, it should be there. So, what do you want to bet we're about to find a corpse? Just a corpse. Evo says, I've been looking up writing advice, and I kept coming across is that to make complex characters, you should give them flaws, which is good advice, sure. The examples of flaws I keep seeing were selfish, being needlessly cruel. What? Arrogant, vindictive, spiteful. So I see this as bad advice, not because flaws are bad, because giving random flaws to characters is a terrible idea. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's dumb. Like, okay, hang on. We need to make Picard flawed. I've got it. He's needlessly no. I'm with Takoida. That's random anime characters. That's what that is. That's all that is. That's just like, okay, what's your shtick? Because there's always a gimmick, right? There's always a thing. It's like, okay, what's your shtick? I really like pumpkins. Okay, cool. There's the pumpkin guy. What else we got? Oh, I live to murder people. It's all that keeps me... Okay, so we got the murder hobo over there. It's not flaws. Just... I'm glad you're liking Guild Wars 2. Because if you weren't... Table stock. After the table crawls, they remind me of. I'll log my notes at the base. Okay. No, Elazar? Hang on. Elazar asked a new question. Why were the odd numbers of Trek bad and the even numbers good? So, first of all, that's not really accurate. Let's just start with that. Like, Star Trek 1 is not a bad film. Star Trek 3 is not a bad film. Um, and I'm going to go so far as to say that Star Trek 10 is not a particularly good film. Star Trek 10 is Nemesis, by the way. So obviously it doesn't really line up that way. That's, you know, those kind of things that become part of cultural consciousness that have no actual basis in reality, but people all treat it as if it's absolutely true. It's usually based on some kind of like a phrase or a saying or whatever, and people are just like, aha, and people just treat that as the absolute truth. That's the same thing with that. You know, odds are bad, evens are good, is something that goes back to the freaking 80s and has never actually been true. Having said that, there is a much more real phenomenon that comes down to, yeah, pulling up by your bootstraps. That's another good one. Yeah, every other Assassin's Creed game is bad. Another good example of that. The best Mega Man was Mega Man 2. Moving on. There is a very real phenomenon because Star Trek the Motion Picture had an insanely huge budget. It was incredibly expensive. It was so expensive, we don't actually know how expensive it was because creative accounting was used to make it happen, like at all, because they were just burning money off of it left and right. So what happened was the budget shrank. By coincidence, they brought in an extremely talented group, which also got the cast on board, and all of a sudden Wrath of Khan was amazing. So the budget went up for Star Trek 3, which didn't do very well. So the budget went down for Star Trek 4, which was the success story of the franchise. So the budget went way up for Star Trek 5, which flopped, and so forth and so on. That is a much more real phenomenon. It's also worth noting that Nemesis, this is going to sound like a strange statement. So I absolutely hate praising Rick Berman. I do. It bothers me. But the fact of the matter is, he was a typical 80s executive. Not a good person. Misogynistic. Kind of a prick, right? But in the year that we currently live in, that puts him ahead of the pack in terms of being a decent human being. We have so much worse than that right now. I just mentioned this guy, the CEO of Discord, is worse than Rick Berman, just as far as a human being and for doing it. Because the thing is, Rick Berman, like most older CEOs, understood two tenets of being an executive. Don't kill the golden goose, and make sure you take care of the golden goose. Rick Berman kept Trek alive for a long time and kept making sure that it was getting resources and funding and access and all kinds of crap, right? I don't know what his thing was with Garrett Wang. I don't think we ever actually found out about that. So he made sure that Trek stayed alive for a very, very, very long time. And it took Nemesis to finally be the silver bullet to kill Trek. Yeah, it's just TNG Season 1 didn't kill Trek. TNG Season 7 didn't kill Trek. DS9, Voyager, and TNG being right back to back to back didn't kill Trek. Enterprise Season 1 didn't kill Trek. Insurrection didn't kill Trek. It took Nemesis to finally be the bullet that Rick Berman couldn't push back against. And it's worth noting he did try. He did go into the office and fight for that, but Nemesis was such a colossal disaster, which was then sacrificed to Lord of the Rings, by the way. So it was a terrible film. God damn it, Ross. So it was a terrible film, in addition to being a bomb, in addition to being a sacrificial film. And that was the end of it. If it wasn't for Nemesis, there's a non-zero chance Modern Trek would have kept going. Especially since Enterprise, like I said, was finding itself again and was actually starting to pull numbers in and start to move units. Yeah, actually, act. That's a good way to put that. But anyways, I bring all of this up because, interestingly enough, the TNG movies did not have the problem the TOS movies did. Generations had a lot of backing from Berman. and her empowerment in general. And so did First Contact. And so did Insurrection. 3 of the 4 TNG films actually had pretty solid backing. They just failed on their own. And then Nemesis was Nemesis. I see something at the edge. Is that the suit? Yes, Jonathan Frakes did direct Insurrection. And if I might be so bold, it shows. Because he's a damn good director. Also true of Von Falkenstein. Even Insurrection actually sold reasonably well. It's definitely Mine's suit. No Mine. Okay, so no body. Surely she isn't... Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. I want to take a look at this. It can't have been here long. Most of it's still in good condition, but how did it get out here? There's no evidence of injury. A malfunction, perhaps? What do you think? No. No, you're right. And she left it on purpose, abandoned it. She intend us to find it? Mine, what did you get yourself into here? Better equipped than our suit, but the seals have started decaying. What's this? Mine has rigged up some kind of custom propulsion system, probably to deal with the currents. We can use this. We have the technology. She's fashioned some kind of microbial fuel cell. We need to recreate that if we want to use it. But let's get this back to base. Mine, you better not have done something stupid. I didn't come all the way out here just to bury you. Let's go. Call the drone for pickup. Can I do that? Nope. Okay. Hello? Oh, there we go. What the heck is Genesis, Eleazar? The Bible? Yeah, sure. Hang on, let me pull this up. In the beginning, there was death. And God said, death is a good thing, and we have followed in his example ever since. That looks really cool, TSB. The hard book. Oh, the band Genesis. Does anyone actually like Genesis, the band? Yeah, the Genesis as a game console was actually pretty cool, too. I mean, yeah, some people actually like Phil Collins, which is very strange. Are you asking me what I think of one of the best Trek films, Eleazar? Is that the question here? Bob Page. Bob Page wasn't actually that bad, if you remember. I know that sounds strange, but I mean it. Bob Page was also an idiot, something a lot of people tend to forget. Who, Wolverine? No, I've never even heard of it. I've been working the past few hours on Mine's suit. Bad news is, majority of it's unusable. Apart from that propulsion system Mine pulled together, but we're going to need a power source. Mine's suit logs mention her building a fuel cell with microbes from the Western Reef. But they don't say much else. She's been incredibly secret while she was here. Moving her tracks across the reef as if there was someone watching. I don't know, the Mine I know is tricky, complicated, but not paranoid. Either way, if we want to recreate a propulsion system, we need those microbes. When you're ready, let's head to the Westerns for us, see what we can find. Okay. Let's scan some stuff first. Mine's suit open to the ocean, empty. What has she done? I'm trying to reconcile the Mine I once knew with the evidence in front of me. When I met her on Kepler 62F, she was intense and quiet, but calculated, intelligent. She wasn't someone to take unnecessary risks, to leap into the unknown. At first I found her impossibly intimidating. Her experience working as a biologist far outstripped my own. Baikal brought me to the site as a consultant to examine her discoveries, but I felt like the one under examination. The base wasn't much like this one, smaller, older model, sunk in a subglacial ocean. Someone might think a relationship was inevitable given those intimate conditions, but it wasn't the base that brought me to her, it was the intensity. Over the few years since I tried not to dwell on what happened in Kepler 62F. But being here, living in where she's lived, following her scattered steps, it's impossible not to remember. So there's our new stocks. Hang on a sec, hang on. Where's, here we go. Scan these new samples. Please. Oh, I've already scanned all those. I'm sorry, I need to go up to here? No. Life support's getting low, by the way. Cough, cough. Alright, let's scan the pollens. Whatever this is. We should probably scan these. Something we have. Anyway, Star Trek 2 is a good film, Elizar. So let's scan all this stuff. Good morning, Dragon. See, the problem is DS9 was custom made for a movie. Honestly, DS9 was custom made for a follow-up. DS9, quite frankly, ended kind of mid-stride, you know. I know there's that big old epilogue-ish kind of thing, but that is very rushed and thrown together. Yeah, I know, Avery Brooks, and I don't blame him. I really don't. Pull all this stuff out here. There's our sketches. God, it's terrifying. Yeah, no kidding, Ross. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, it's not like you can't continue Voyager, but honestly, a continuance of Voyager exists. It's called Prodigy. Oh, that sucks, Dakota. Oh, I actually remember this one. This one hit my radar and then fell off my radar. I'm guessing that's why. Yeah, right there. Development paused. Paused indefinitely. Ouch. Yeah. Yeah, amusingly, Voyager doing its own first contact probably would have worked. Here's hoping my memory is at least somewhat accurate. Should be checking for new nodes as I go. It's only starting to hurt my eyes, even. I don't mind minimalistic, but... Impressive. The split in the shelf is incredibly wide and deep. Those grounds would smash against the rocks. We're gonna need better equipment. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly. Well, yeah, let's pull up the options here. There we go. Yep, there's our options menu. We can resume the game, check the message log, save and quit. Oh, that's a good question, Ross. I don't know. I do find it funny that your game has better options than this, Evo. The one you've already punched out. Never mind the one you're working on right now. I mean, this was a few years ago. And it was their first foray. Although supposedly they worked in games before, I wasn't able to find a lot of concrete data about that. Mina's map data mentions a microbe which only occurs in this stock forest. You can find 4 healthy colonies, making the basis for a fuel cell. Okay. I mean, Steam tags are kind of funny, so... sense making's boring, but Wolfenstein. Those strange inflated stocks. They look like spore and gross we found in the Eastern caves, but there's something wrong with them. We need to break them open somehow. See if they respond to the shrill sacks. Aren't these the microbes I was already grabbing? Yeah, they are. Yeah, these are the oxygen sappers. They got one, but the clouds are incredibly toxic. The suit is having to flush its vents with oxygen to protect me. We lost a lot of reserve oxygen. We're going to need to be fast. I've already done all this! Oh, yeah, Starmancer. I might have to remove Starmancer from the list. Because that's another dead on arrival one, isn't it? Sucks. So you can grab more shrill sacks. I don't need too many. Just like 2 would be plenty, I'm sure. Yeah. Which one, Braven? If you don't mind my asking. But yeah, that is the ever-present danger of indie development in general. Some of these games are never made, and some of them get pulled. Yeah, the fact that we still only really have the one is just kind of weird. Okay, I'm running a little low on shrill sacks. Let's go refill. I've never even heard of that one, Braven. I mean, if I could go back to speedrunning for a second, not every good speedrunner is a good presenter. And not every good game dev is a good manager or accountant. Let's grab our microbes here. I've actually seen quite a few speedrunners who are good at presenting. But if I'm being honest, they're the exceptions. Infection come from? The stock seem to be struggling to deal with it. That's fine, it's fine. It's just part of their expected life cycle. That's a good question. And let's get our sample. Get out of here. So right now, Wolverine, what we're trying to do is scan microbial... wrong button. Colonies in order to be able to build a rocket thruster so that we can get out of here and fly to places, or excuse me, swim to places we haven't had access to. Can we just... That's what I thought. We just call in the picket now. Overall, the main thing we're doing right now is we are a person who was called out by a message from an old acquaintance out to an alien world where we found alien life, first alien life we've ever found. But there's a mystery here and we're not sure what's going on, and that's what we're at, is we're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So, hey, ready to get back to work? Yes. Great, because I've had a very productive few hours. I've been working on that propulsion system. I've used those 4 microbial samples to grow a new colony in the lab. I transferred it to a secure containment capsule. Nice and snug. I followed what I could from Mine's notes on building a microbial fuel cell. It's all loaded into the suit. The MFC fed directly from our reserve oxygen supply. I just need to take the suit out for a dive to test it. It's going to be plenty of oxygen, so bring any samples that'll help out. Make sure not to take any we haven't put through the analysis first. I don't want to burn through hours of research material, just get a power boost. The propulsion system will let us pass through strong currents and move more quickly. We should be able to cut across the rift north of the way station and see what the bloom finally is. Okay. A interesting movie, followed immediately by a very boring movie, Elizar, followed by a terrible ending. Yeah, no, search engines are just getting worse. Really, just in general. Which is funny, because they were actually fine for a while there, and then people started tinkering, and now they're getting worse. It's funny how that works out. Like, not to overpraise, but... As it happens, I am not a Kubrick fan, but that's actually unrelated. Like, I found Space Odyssey far more interesting until HAL got involved. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't that the main plot? I already read this one. Was HAL scary? No. HAL was iconic, but scary is not the word I'd use. Alright, let's head north. Well, not quite PM2X. I know I'm an old, boring old man who's old and boring and old. Just find the controls of the utilities where sampling and everything else is. Once you find the propulsion system, let's try it out. Remember, it uses oxygen. When you got the hang of it, let's try to cross the Northern Rift. Okay. I was going to say, Shodan certainly managed it, but Shodan was entirely on presentation, which is kind of funny. For those of you who don't remember, Space 2000 Odyssey, the first half of the film is... It's not just build up to the mystery about what's going on and what we're examining or the obelisk or anything like that. It's an insight into space travel. And I know that sounds weird, but really, like, the first half of the film is just world building. Just world building. Establishing cultural norms, establishing how the technology works, establishing what it's like. Everyone acts like what they're doing is so incredibly mundane, which helps to sell the scene, if that makes any sense. It makes it so, this is just a Saturday trip for most of the people heading out to the station, right? Stuff like that. And there's a lot of really good visual storytelling and background dialogue, and they mention a lot of the political setup of how the world is and how the nations and their interactions with each other have changed. And there's this whole thing, and the whole reason it's such a big issue is because of the politics, and all of that's great. It's great direction, it's great visual storytelling, it's great establishment. And then they go and they find Hal, who has nothing to do with the main plot, it's worth noting. I shouldn't say nothing. Very little to do with the main plot. And he's the bump in the road, which everyone remembers. Then, after that, they find the damn thing, and then the ending is stupid. Okay, so... rockets. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Go. Go? Oh yeah, drain that oxygen. Okay, that must be the bloom. Now let's turn off. Yeah, off. Stop draining oxygen. So there's a lot of stuff over here. What ecological crisis spawned this green mass? How's it connected to the reef? Oh, water inside is totally anoxic. The suit's rebreather can't function. Out, 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 out. I'll have to run on reserve oxygen while we're inside this place. Okay, so we found our first anti-oxygen area. I've been waiting for that. You'll notice we had to burn oxygen just to reach this area, which means we have to burn oxygen to leave. Life still hanging on inside the toxic bloom, creating safe zones in order to survive. Perhaps these creatures can help us learn how to exist in these toxic conditions. Let's take some samples. What if you let me? Oh, here we go. Oh god, our inventory is full. Let's go ahead and burn that. Make some room. Hi, Twister. This is fan dust. We're going to grab some of that. I guess we didn't need it. Whatever. This bronze shell sits half buried in the sand. Good morning, Walker. We need to figure out how to tempt it out of its burrow. Nope. Oh, no, that worked. Okay, so I did it. What? The bloom is vast. What could cause and sustain such processes at such a scale? Good question. The oxygen gone, the microbes here must be metabolizing some other substance in order to persist. Name of these bloom fans. When we finally get out of this place, I'll update the base's taxonomy logs. Okay, do we keep going, or do we bail? What do you think, sis?
I think that
Keep going or
there's a
bail?
whole lot of dots.
Keep going or bail? Keep going or bail?
So
Keep going or bail?
kill them all.
Okay, keep going, is what I'm hearing.
I'm gonna need your car for a bit.
Okay, any reason why?
The eldest has a doctor's appointment, and Kazra also has a doctor's appointment, and I don't know that he's gonna make it back in time. And
Okay.
he has another doctor's appointment after
Okay.
the is in the middle of the two of them.
Oh god, we're dying. We're dying. There was a path north, but we can't find it now, TSB. We're too far gone. Okay, we're going for broke at this point. I'm curious what happens if we die.
I mean, you do have to figure out at some point what happens when you die.
That's true.
That's true in every video game. You can't review it
That
unless you know
is
what
absolutely
happens when you
valid.
die.
That's absolutely valid. Let's go into the safe zone really quick, because we are very close to death. Okay. So, when are you heading out tonight, by the way? Do you know?
Not a clue.
Got it.
I didn't even know what date the thing was happening until yesterday
Got it.
when I told him he needed to come talk to you about it because he hadn't done that.
Yeah. So there's more fan dust. We have tons of fan dust. What about games where you can't die? She's got a point.
Then it's not a mechanic and you don't have to review it. You only review death mechanics when death is a possibility.
But death is a good thing. I'm sorry.
There are games where death is a good thing.
That's true. We review a weird large amount of them. I'm not going to make it. 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 No, I'm not, TSB. We're going to die.
Mom bought cranes instead of flamingos.
Aw. I like it. We're going to die. It's okay. I accept my death. This shoot's shutting down. No!
Speak of Mom,
Guys, my sister and her husband are ADHD.
I'm also autistic.
Oh my god! Why didn't you tell me? Wait, where's I don't have a Pikachu. I just realized I don't have a Pikachu at all. I can't do shocked Pikachu.
You have Togepi?
This is my shocked Togepi.
Togepi's going,
He's very cute.
because that's what Togepi
He
does.
is. He does. You're absolutely right.
It doesn't matter what the situation. Togepi's he's getting kidnapped by Team Rocket.
Yay! Team Rocket's like, would you quit it?
Mommy.
Would you stop doing this? Yeah, there are people that exist with ADHD. They will not be silenced.
Okay, so
And yeah, sorry, the game mutes when I alt tab, as so many games do. God, that drives me bonkers. Okay, so we now know what happens when you die. You reset to base. So that means loss of progress, but you go back to a checkpoint and you don't lose any stuff you have in your inventory, which is nice. Activate the oxygenators. Oxygen enabled. And go. Alright, back into the hellscape of endless death. Okay, turn that off so we stop wasting oxygen. So this isn't hell actual. That's so much worse than this. So there's like layers of hell, as we've seen back in Subnautica. There's like layers of hell, right? So what layer do you think we're on? Is this just the first hell? Well, yeah, that's microbial and a colony. That's microbial and a colony. Sorry, same thing. That's microbial and a colony. This is lichen and signal. This is microbial economy. This is fungal and signal. There's a 3 dot and a 2. Oh, well, yeah, 3 dots and 2 dots. Okay. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay. I understand. So that's 7% to oxygen. That's 0% to oxygen. That's 15% to oxygen. Okay, I'll be real. That's the first bit of the interface I did not notice, TSP. Until you pointed it out. Everything else I've been able to suss out, but that was new to me. Well, in that case, since we can get some dust here, let's go and refill a bit. And I do like how they give us 2 relatively safe spots before we are tossed into, you know, hell. So let's head north. So triangles are nodes you can move between. And you need a triangle, which means you need to scan it. And then you can move between. Everything else is something you can interact with elsewise. Let's go into a safe spot for a second. Let's go ahead and refill our oxygen a little bit. Pull some samples out. I've actually seen a fairly increasing amount of games like this. And how good or bad they are, in my opinion, has nothing to do with the fact that they're like this. Let me explain what I mean by that really quick. There's an artillery game, which I think actually isn't out yet, which is like this. And arguably Barotrauma is like this too, and there's a few others I can mention. It's a game where, rather than having all of the stuff we usually have in a game, you have something that someone would actually have in real life. I know that's a weird way to explain it, but you probably get what I mean. And if you don't, put it to you this way. A game where you coordinate flight control, which actually sounds like a really cool game, actually. So a game where you coordinate flight controls, right? You'd probably see the planes, and you'd probably interact with this and do this and drag lines to make them go to different things at different times. Put like a delay thing there, and I can picture the HUD and interface in my head just right now. But that's not what I'm talking about. A game of the style I'm describing has you sitting at a radar screen with a bunch of dials and buttons and knobs, and it's like, okay, now do the exact same thing, except you have that to work with. And I've seen some good of these, and I've seen some bad of these. I'm not sure which this one is yet. The artillery game I mentioned earlier actually sounds pretty cool, so we'll see. There's also one, oh god, it's like an airship battle game. Anybody know what I'm talking about there? Oh, it's going to bother me now. Hang on. I'd recognize it if I saw it. Of course, none of these are it. I forgot how it even works. None of these are it. You might know this, Dakota. It's a game where, like, you're controlling airships fighting each other, but, like, you're staring at a radar instead of, like, an interface. High Fleet. Is that it? Yeah, that's it right there. Immediate. That's exactly it. I love how quickly you got that. Yeah, so High Fleet is another game of the style that I'm referring to, where you're more dealing with a realistic interface. Basically, the way I like to phrase this is you're playing the person playing the game instead of playing the game directly. And that's what this feels like. Let's go ahead and refill some oxygen. Refill that while we're here. Alright, let's go. Because, yeah, you notice I can't actually move here. can set a destination, and I can set the thing to go. But if there's anything blocking the path, I can't go that way, and I can only go to places where it's very prone to let me go, and I've got to keep in mind my various meters and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Okay. We found a bubble of oxygen. Is this what allows the species here to survive this constant toxicity? In the complex, transparent structures, the blurred activity of many individual creatures can be seen. These must be nests. They provide safe zones in the bloom. Let's start logging data on them. What do we got here? Let's go ahead and re-oxygenate real quick. Are we just capturing an animal live now? These colonies do well to hold out against the bloom. Individual creatures seem to be able to digest microbial growth. We can use this. We should try deploying a colony to see if we can create our own safe zone. Oh, okay. Well, that means... Alright, hang on. So let's... let's refill our power while we're here. Let's go and refill our oxygen. We don't need that. Now let's grab more of these, because I have a feeling we're going to need more safe zones than one. So we get 2 instead. I'm guessing there will be no safe zones henceforth. So yeah, this is just... going for it. How big is this bloom? Jeez Louise. Yeah, there's a few top-down space-based airship games. I know they're in space, but they feel like airship games that I've seen, which unfortunately aren't actually as cool as I'd like, and most of them aren't even out yet. Okay. Beautiful lifeless shapes like sculptors' abandoned works gather on the way station. Silicate skeletons. It's that rift person skeleton! No! I'm sorry, that rift person. Wait. We're in the rift right now. I knew it! Hey, let's refill our oxygen while we're here. Finally, a way station. With this active, we can call for retrieval across the bloom. Useful when we're low on oxygen. Let's resupply and see if BNA left any map data behind. Let's get some oxygen going. Any map data here? Okay, I got her logs here. A lot of trips back and forth between here and a laboratory? I mean, she must have set up a remote lab somewhere deeper in the bloom. She spent months making trips to it, carrying materials from elsewhere in the bloom to here. She was studying something important to her. We have to find that lab. Damn it, that rift person. I'm begging you. Ah, yeah, airship conquer the skies. Yeah, I've poked at this one, but I've never really gotten into it. Like, it's good at what it's there for. Sure, Don Crow. This game is like... This game is like Subnautica. No. This game is the Dark Souls of Subnautica. There we go. Got it out there. Let's see. Kingdoms Adrift. What is this one? Oh, this is the kind of pseudo-open worldy one, isn't it? That's what I'm thinking of. The Dark Souls of Citizen Sleeper. I mean... Submerged Souls. Thank you, that rift person. If you would like to know what you want to put it towards, please let me know. We'll be the Dark Souls of Dark Souls. Oh, there's so many jokes I can make there. Kingsfield. That's a good direction to take that. Kingsfield. I like that answer. You know what's funny is I actually poked at Demon's Souls all the way back in the day. And bounced off of it hard and never looked back until, like, Dark Souls 2 was out. This is terrifying. Do you see how there's, like, no map data here at all? No topography data, I guess I should say. Like, why is this an empty shelf? I think this is just the other route up, because I remember it being, like, down there-ish. Sekiro, I consider to be one of their best games, and I do. But I'm not sure my opinion is valid there. Sampling. What do we make here? There's a skeleton. They resemble radiolarians, but bigger in scale. They're incredibly ornate. A colony of shattered domes lying in silvery silt. What were these creatures? Elden Ring was another one of those Second Coming of Christ games. And it always irritates me, because usually Second Coming of Christ games are actually good. It's just, you know... That's more nest workers. Yeah, no, exactly, Dakota. Like, there's real stuff to discuss about Elden Ring, and everyone's just like, it's the greatest game. Oh, hang on. Write that down for Hi-Fi Rush, Pokemon Platinum, and Stellaris. Thank you again, that rep person. There's always a Second Coming of Christ game. As much as it irritates me personally, I can't deny people the desire to just sit and gush about a game. To just sit there and talk about how amazing a game is. Because life sucks, and it's nice to be able to just sit and say, it's amazing. I prefer to do so from a perspective of actually analyzing the game and discussing the game. Because there's good things in these games, and they ignore those. They just say, this game is amazing. But I at least understand the urge to overpraise. Okay, so let's head north. Let's do the dumbest thing we possibly could and head further into green. I think we're going to call this Green Hell. Oh, we can't. Huh. Silksong excuse me, it's an interesting one for me. From my perspective, I should say. Because a lot of people definitely overpraised Silksong when it first came out, and then there's like an immediate backlash to that. And then it kind of stabilized. It's always nice to see that kind of stabilization thing. Because it doesn't always stabilize. Sometimes it just keeps being that thing, you know? How much inventory space do we have? Oh, hardly any. Let's grab at least one of these, refill some oxygen while we're here. There we go. Okay. Make sure we're still going the right way, which we are. Yeah, exactly, TSB. You know what I could put that under? Sorry, I just realized how I could categorize this. Hello, hello. There we go. No, again, that's why I try not to come too harsh down on that Rift person. It irritates me personally. But, you know, I get it. It's a pet peeve, right? For those of you who never heard me use that terminology, a pet peeve is something that's not actually a real issue, right? Someone who doesn't always throw away the wrapper when they're eating a piece of gum, that's a pet peeve. That's not the end of the world. Someone who punches you in the face every time they walk by you, that's like a real peeve. That's a terrible example, but I'm just going to go with it. That's a real peeve. That's something that's bad. Yeah, the rock and the shoe. I always find it funny that the rock and the shoe analogy stuck, whereas the stealing my shoes analogy went away almost immediately. But yeah, no, the rock and the shoe, the whole point of that is it's not a big deal. It's just, it's a deal you're constantly dealing with. No, it's a common saying. But I had to clarify it. You know, I don't know, Dakota. I mean, obviously there's probably some artifact design there. I've also noticed some games lean way more in one direction or another. Okay, let's grab one of these then. Yeah, Soten was... God, I don't know. Like, we've talked about them before when we were playing Bloodstained, of all things, because a lot of Metroidvanias lean heavilier on combat or exploration. Probably my personal favorite example of that is actually the Ori games, especially Ori 2. Ori 2 did have combat, barely. Like, it leaned heavily on the platforming and exploration side of things. And it was kind of unusual for that, but in a good way. What the hell is over here? Okay, hold on. Let's pop one of these. Let's create a save space. Let's refill that. Ori 2 had decent combat, but think about how much emphasis was on the combat in Ori 2. AKA hardly any. Yeah, it had way better boss battles. You could argue it had boss battles at all, actually. But you get my point, right? Like a huge... Ooh, that's a ton of oxygen. A huge portion of Ori 2 was platforming and exploration. Oh, this is a line. We have hit the limit here. Let's head back. Weeks of corrosion for this base to fall into ruin. Yeah, that sounds about right. Mine was gathering the mineral skeletons, studying them. What secrets have you unearthed, Mine? How were these strange silicon spheres worth all this? I'm gonna laugh if this is silicate-based life forms, and that's like the thing. Will we be safe down? Yes. Good to know. I still think the dice allocation system was one of the better ideas Citizen Sleeper had. It's not just a lab, it's a workshop. She was building something down. It's a suit. She was modifying an old atmospheric hard suit. How deep was she planning to go? These are verified for beyond 1,000 meters. I want to see what I can pull from the notes and documents here. Some of them are still partially readable. Lack of water flow must have kept them in good condition. She's definitely specking the suit for stuff beyond the drop-off, modifying it with the silicate skeletons. Artificers, she calls them. Exoskeletons of nanofibrous geothite, protecting a silicon carbide core. Pressure resistance of their exoskeleton is unprecedented for biological material. I'll take the depth rating of the hard suit well past 3,000 meters. That's incredible. Walk over the drop. Please don't make me go 3,000 meters down. I was pushing her forward. She was incredibly driven. Desperate, even. She mentioned sending ROVs down to the Abyssal Plain, cobbling together bits of the base. All of them lost, and her work in the suit failed. That's when the notes seemed to end. Most recent documents mention another way. Did she make it? How? The suit was so close to completion. Why abandon it? We have to make that dive. If I can fix up the suit, we can take it over the drop-off. Perhaps Mine managed it. We need to follow. I can do this. We can do this. Let's get back outside, calling the drone. Sure. I mean, lol, act. Yes, this was literally one dude. They are the same person who made what you think, Citizen Sleeper, and I need to look up what else they've worked on because that's come up several times now. They basically left game development to go make their own thing. Had two ideas. This was one of them. Citizen Sleeper was the other. Obviously, they had some success because Citizen Sleeper 2 exists. Alright, I guess we'll head back, because that's what it's telling me to do. What hours? Are you sleeping, Ellery? Glad to see you back online. Sorry for the rush, but we gotta move. I've been going through Mine's notes from her labs. From what I can tell, she attempted to... well, a free dive over the drop-off. That's why she left her suit behind. She must have opened it up and descended. I know what you're thinking. There's no way she could dive thousands of meters to the ocean floor. But that's what she did, willingly, and we're going after her. We need to dive now. I've been working on the suit, and it's almost ready. I've used sections of Mine's failed hard suit to modify our suit. Now it's a full atmospheric dive suit. Internally, we should be able to maintain 1 atmosphere of pressure for me and that casing of yours. It'll work just like before, but our depth rating is massively increased. Getting 2, maybe 3,000 meters. The suit's in the base, so load whatever samples you need. I've marked the drop-off on the map. We can dive there and directly search for any evidence there. I have no idea why she would do this. It's suicide. But she seemed to believe she could do it. Give her to go. I'll be waiting. Yeah, okay. Let's dump off all of this. Let's go scan stuff. Be scanned. It's a really good oxygen source, too. This one? No, okay, that's all of them. There's our bloom. Life support's still kind of having issues. Mina is gone, and she's left behind one hell of a mess. Base is falling apart, cannibalized to build way stations in the ocean. Communications array sliced away, life support failing. Where'd she even commandeer this research base from? Wait, didn't I already read this? Okay, yeah, I thought it... Yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah, no, I figured we're about a little under 50%. Which means it's a good... So I'm going to actually break early, just because this feels like a good pause point. Go help my sister with the stuff she asked me to help with, do a couple of other little off-camera things, and I'll be back.